forward as a United States of America. Our panel deals with that next on the Chris Salcedo Show.
History Month you find
ridiculous.
Why?
You're going to relegate my history to a month?
Oh, come on.
What do you do with yours? Which month is White History Month? No, well, come on, tell me.
Well, I'm Jewish.
Okay, which month is Jewish History Month?
There isn't one.
Oh, why not?
Yeah.
Do you want one?
No.
I don't either. I don't want a Black History Month. Black history is American history.
Amen to that. Black history is American history. Welcome back, everybody. That was Oscar-winning actor Morgan Freeman speaking with Mike Wallace of 60 Minutes back there in 2005. We're discussing race in America and how to move the country forward. Joined now by former presidential candidate Hermann Cain, CEO of The New Voice and a NewsMax contributor. Also joined by Jarome Bell, 27-year Navy veteran who's a Republican running for Virginia's 2nd Congressional District. Gentlemen, it is a pleasure to have you both here. I'm going to ask this of you first, Mr. Cain. The greatest divide we have in America, I say, your liberty-loving Latino says, is ideological, not racial. What do you think?
I believe it's more ideological than racial, and here's why. Many members of the media have been whipping this racial frenzy up, not just starting with the death of George Floyd, but all along. If you go to individual communities around this country, you will not find the same racial tension that is projected by the media. Ideologically, yes, we are very divided because unfortunately, too many black people have been brainwashed by the Democrat Party, and they still don't see how they have been brainwashed ideologically. And so as a result, many of them stick with the Democrat Party, even though if they ideologically go down the list of all of the different things that the Democrats have been espousing, including all of the issues that are supposed to be in this community. Who has been in charge of most of these communities for decades? Democrats. What has been done? Nothing. Who was president for 8 years that happened to be a black man? What did he do in 8 years to effectively do some things to help the black community? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. And now we have a president who happens to be white, comes along and does some major things, gets some major things done, and they are in denial because the liberal media faction does not want to report those positive achievements that he has been able to bring about.
I hear you. Mr. Bell, what do you think? The more I watch what's going on here in America and the reason why these things are happening, I don't think we have a race problem in America. I think we have an ideological problem in America, and the other side uses these issues, whether it be gay issues or transgender issues or race issues, to advance their ideology at the expense of the country. Am I off base?
No, I think you're actually right on point, and so is Mr. Cain. You know, we have a problem here in America to where this right now, what's going on right now, let's just be honest, is about an election. Okay, like Mr. Cain said, when President Obama was president, you never heard anything like this. Now, even though back in 2015, we had the highest rate of black people being killed by police in the history of the nation, but no one ever heard about that. We never rioted about that. It's all about an agenda, okay? And it's all about an agenda. Right now, you know, we're bringing people in, you know, to help destroy these black neighborhoods. And what's saddening to me is that a lot of these black people, they're allowing people that they don't know. And I will say that the Antifa crowd and the neo-Nazi crowd that really don't care about black lives at all. Matter of fact, they want blacks and whites killed because they want to incite a race war. And that's what will happen. So it's definitely all ideological. And Mr. Cain said brainwashed. I would actually go further and say it's programmed. And it's linguistic programming. They use words like white supremacists. They use racism. They use white nationalists, you know, to incite anger and to incite fear. So it's a lot of linguistic programming going on. You know, and I was at Lobby Day here in Virginia, January 20th, 2020, and that was the most safest place in America that you could have been. And I don't think I was a white nationalist. I'm not a white supremacist, but I was there right in the middle of it, right with all those patriots that were there defending our Second Amendment right. And so, yes, we do not have a race problem in America, because if we had a race problem in America, I would not have been able to stand side by side with all those patriots there in Richmond that day on January 20th. It's definitely ideological.
Gentlemen, I don't know why I was surprised, but, there comes Reverend Al in a memorial deciding he'd get political and take swipes at his political opponents using George Floyd's memorial as an opportunity to do that. I just want you guys to comment on that. Mr. Cain, you go first.
Well, being that it was Reverend Al, I'm not surprised. Anytime he gets an opportunity to grandstand and take a swipe at his political opponents, even if he disguises it as a eulogy, he does it. He does it all the time, so I'm not surprised. To answer directly your question, how do we move forward? Continue to push the truth. Here's the good news and the light at the end of the tunnel, that we're seeing, Chris. More and more people are beginning to acknowledge the truth. You're not going to convert everybody. But if we continue to save the savable with the truth, like Mr. Bell talked about, we're going to eventually move the needle. We're never going to move the needle expecting people like Reverend Al to start saying good things about Republicans, conservatives, and especially this president. He's simply not going to do it. I can tell from my circles of influence and the people that I interact with that many people are beginning to come around, so to speak, meaning they are starting to look at the truth. That's how we unite the country eventually and move forward. Continue to push the truth.
I concur. I don't want Reverend Al to say good things about conservatives, Republicans. I was just hoping he would stick to memorializing George Floyd. But Mr. Bell, he went off on politics in the middle of a memorial. And it's the most distasteful thing I think that any individual can do.
I mean, well, unfortunately, he stuck to the Democratic playbook, never let a crisis go to waste. And unfortunately, that was George Floyd's memorial for the race baiter Al Sharpton. Al Sharpton did what he does best. That's why they bring him out, to race bait and incite hate amongst black and white people. Unfortunately, it still comes down to that. Like I said, the Democratic Party hasn't done anything for the black race in 60 years. I mean, that's just the facts of it. You can look at our communities. You can look at the abortion centers that's in the communities. You can look at the alcohol stores that's in the communities. You can look at the failing schools in the communities, the dilapidated infrastructure. We have neighborhoods here in Norfolk where I was speaking with the lady that they don't even have a grocery store because they closed the only grocery store that she could get to. And so she has to go across town in an electronic wheelchair. So the Democratic Party has totally failed the America and definitely the black race with empty promises. And I'm not surprised at all that race baiter Al Sharpton did what he did yesterday.
I'm glad you brought that up, Mr. Bell, because you took me right where I wanted to go. We're not going to have the conversation in this country that needs to be had, that if you look at the policies that have destroyed the black family, and I've said this before, the Latino community owes so much to our brothers and sisters in the black community because you all took the slings and the arrows from the socialists, from the communists, from the collectivists on the Democrat side, and they destroyed your family. They destroyed your communities. They put an abortion clinic on every corner. They substituted fathers and parental figures with government, and they destroyed the black family. And that's a conversation we're not going to get to have because of the corruption of the mainstream press. Mr. Cain, am I off base?
You're not off base at all. And here's the other thing that the extremely liberal media and many Democrats do. Every time we take, as a nation, 2 steps forward, we end up taking 3 steps backwards because of their narrative. I grew up doing segregation. I know what that's like. I saw the signs on the bus that said colored seat from rear. I understand that, but we have come a long way. Yes, we have other things that we need to do, and in order to be able to truly continue to bridge that gap, but we've come a long way. The thing that frustrates me the most, Chris, is that too often, like Reverend Al and some of these other people, they want to drag us all the way back to thinking about slavery. Slavery is way back in the history. Let's look at the progress we have made and build on that. That's where I'm coming from. And the good news is a lot of black people are coming from that. Look at Mr. Bell. He is running for the United States Congress. Why is he running for the United States Congress? He is not focusing on the past. He is focusing on building from today for the future. That's what Democrats and liberals do all the time. They try to drag us back 3 steps whenever we make 2 steps. And like I said earlier, keep pushing the truth. You, Greg, other voices out there that understand this and not afraid to speak out. He's not afraid to speak out.
Well,
I'm not afraid to speak out. You're not afraid to speak out.
Yeah, Mr. Bell, I want you to put a bow on this one. We're running out of time, but I wanted to get you to comment and expound a little bit on what you brought up about the destruction of the black community at the hands of the Democrat Socialist Party.
I mean, yeah. I mean, you know, what has happened is that, you know, they haven't moved forward. They need a class, a poor class. That's why they're bringing in all the illegal aliens right now to actually replace us, because a lot of black people are waking up. You know, my father always said, hey, be the change you want. That's one reason I'm running for Congress, okay? Not because, you know, I really want to, because I'm a retired military guy. I could have went fishing, okay? But I was called again to serve my oath one more time. And I plan on being that change in the black neighborhoods, in the white neighborhoods, so we can come together. What the white liberals and the Liberal Party and the Democrats fear most is a unified conservative party. And that's another reason I'm running. I'm running so we can unify the conservatives, the working conservatives, the Christian conservatives, the black and white conservatives, all under one umbrella, so we can just get rid of the Democratic Party once and for all, so we can move America forward.
Amen to that. What they fear the most is a United States of America. Gentlemen, look, I've enjoyed the conversation. Let's the 3 of us agree we're going to come back and we're going to expand on this, because here on NewsMax TV is probably the only place you're going to get an honest conversation in all of media about it. Thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate the time. Coming up, we recap Obamagate this week. George Papadopoulos is up next on the Chris Salcedo Show here on